They watch your life in the shadows, comparing themselves to you, comparing their life to yours. And they hate the fact that you're able to do what you do and you don't have to concern yourself with them. A lot of what people go through when it comes to people hating on them or being jealous of them, it don't come from the person flaunting their success a lot of the times. It doesn't come from a person flaunting how much better they are than everybody else. A lot of times people are just hated because of the fact that they're winning and they don't have to prove a point to anybody else that they are. Because everything is a facade. You know, people want people to feel like they are the guy. They are that chick. It's all about the image of portraying to people that you are what you say you are. But most people are not what they say they are. But when people know that you are what you really are, and you don't push that out there to the world, you don't have to be on social media posting your life every second of your life, every second of your day. You don't have to be overly social at every club, every lounge. You just not loud. You just winning, doing whatever you're doing, winning. And they're in the shadows just watching from a distance, looking like a fucking wolf with glaring eyes, just full of envy, jealousy. This is why I say when you start winning in life, you gotta go private. Your life needs to become more private when you start winning in life. When you start getting your life to a point where the fruits of your labor are starting to finally pay off, that is when you are going to have to watch everything and everyone around you more closely. Because it's the thing. Now you are a target. It doesn't matter if you're a good person. It don't matter. It doesn't matter. When you are winning in life, I don't care what you're winning in, you are now a target to people that know you, that are close to you. This is why it's very important to observe who you're around when you are in these situations of winning. Because a lot of times, if everybody around you is not elevating with you, they're watching you elevate. And what do you think a person is going to feel when they watch somebody that they was neck and neck with at one point in time start elevating past them? What do you think is going to generate in an emotional state from that person? Logically, as a human being, you're bound to become a little jealous. You're bound to become a little envious. So that's why I say when you start winning in your life, you start elevating in your life, you got to go MIA. You got to go private. You're going to have to separate yourself. Because if you don't, this is how people end up in these fucked up situations where they get unalived or they get set up. And it's only because the person that did it or orchestrated it was just envious and jealous. The person absolutely did probably nothing to them to deserve that. But that's how strong jealousy is. Envy. And these kind of topics are very important. These are very important topics. These are real tangible things that a person can take with them. Because again, a lot of us are going through that hard, gutter, trenches story of hustling every day, trying to make ends meet. You know, we trying to make it. And then a breakthrough happens. And you're no longer looking dusty. No longer feeling like you ain't got it no more. No longer going through the struggle meals every week. Now you're finally in a position where you can buy yourself a nice pair of shoes. You can buy yourself an outfit. You can put food in your fridge. You can invest yourself in a nicer car. You can do a lot more things for yourself now. And the people that was clowning you before, that looked down on you before, they're starting to stop laughing and they're starting to just stare. Because now they're realizing, wait a minute, hold up. Is this motherfucker getting better? In silence? Like he's not even trying to overly like play his part by acting like he's just getting better day by day by day. Focusing on him. He's not worried about trying to convince me that he's getting better. He don't even really say nothing to me for real. He's just focusing on him or her. They focusing on what they got to do every single day, and I'm starting to see the results of it, and I'm feeling some kind of way. That's how it all starts. And then they start to see you every day showing up, and they starting to see your life is reflecting all the hard work you're putting in. And now, comparison. Now they're comparing themselves to you. Now they're saying little slick comments to you in a joking way, hiding it as a joke. You got to watch those jokes, them little slick comments. There's a lot of truth in those things. It's a lot of truth in those little slick comments and jokes and statements that your people that you consider your homeboys or your homegirls are saying to you. Because they can't say it to you just with a bare face. They got to say it in a joking way to kind of mask a little bit of the heat of the comment or the joke or whatever. But there's a lot of truth in jokes. There's a lot of truth in jokes. And people make these kind of jokes because they're just angry at the fact that you are able to be who you are effortlessly. You don't need a crowd. You don't need a stadium of people behind you. You can do it by yourself. And they can't. And that's why they deep down inside hate that you are you. They hate you. Envy, jealousy, comparison are the three main ingredients on why people get in these positions where they get taken off this earth for no good reason, just because one person had so much hate in their heart towards somebody that they felt they were better than, but realized that the person they thought they were better than is better than them. And they're doing it in such a humble way. They're not overly doing it. They just winning. Just winning. And this is why you have to be aware. You got to be aware of this shit. You got to be aware of this shit, man. For real. You got to be aware of it. People don't understand, man. It's real out here. You know, it's real out here. You know, and it's one of those things where that stuff can just manifest over the littlest thing, you know. And it's the ones closest to you. Those are the main ones that's gonna be on that kind of timing. The ones closest to you. So it's just important, you know. When they can't be you, they hate you. When they see you don't need an audience or a crowd around you, they hate you because you don't need an audience or a stadium to validate that you are who you are. You validate yourself because your self-esteem is naturally high. They have naturally low self-esteem. So they need everybody around them to make them feel who they are is who they are. Without the crowd, without the stadium of people, they're nothing. They feel so small. They feel so small, and they see you just doing your thing by yourself. They feel like, who the fuck does this person think they are? Glowing, radiating, doing their thing, elevating in peace. It's a lot of evil people in this world, and you got to be aware of what's going on out here. When you start to elevate in your life, whenever you do, I want you to be very vigilant of the energy around you, because you are going to feel a shift with your family, with your friends, even with your significant other. When you are starting to see yourself elevate in life, I'm telling you, people change, man. People change just like that. People change, man. And it's scary because, you know, people change and they become unrecognizable. Like unrecognizable, man. It's a scary sight. But, you know, you got to be prayed up out here. And you got to understand that your success bothers people. It's always going to bother somebody. Your success. So when you're doing your thing, just know a lot of the time you're going to have to separate yourself from certain people if you want to live. You want to live. Just live. That's how serious it can get. But on that note, I'm gone.